Sibling rivalry. Yes, it's here to stay, folks, and it actually serves a huge developmental function in terms of kids growing up. There is so much that kids learn and sort through as they kind of tangle and struggle with each other, and tangle and struggle with these really powerful feelings of, is there enough for me, and what's fair and what's not fair, and there are lots of adults that still wrestle with these ideas. And so I know it is annoying and is difficult, but it's also important to think of it as a necessary part of growing up. And it potentially gives kids lots of good skills to navigate these big feelings that come around jealousy and competition and things like that. Depending on the age of your kids, that sort of depends on the level of intervention that is required and ways to go about it. If you have a newborn and a 2-year-old, that's going to be really labor-intensive kinds of you can't leave them to sort that out, and you need to be there to make sure that everybody stays safe. But it doesn't mean that you can't already start using language that will help kids identify the feeling that's coming up for them. And that's true throughout the developmental spectrum. Is we always want to try to find words to help kids identify the feeling that is getting them so dysregulated and is getting them so agitated, because that's where the passion is coming from, right? The other thing that can begin to happen inside any family unit is it isn't just that kids may have trouble identifying the feelings, is that we get stuck reacting and interacting in same ways over and over and over again. And part of this is how do we kind of break up some of these cycles? Some of it is how do we as parents survive it ourselves? Giving kids some words for understanding what those feelings are. Lots of brothers and sisters feel that way. Being able to give voice to your own experience as a brother or a sister. In other words, don't as a parent kind of try to be logical all the time about sibling rivalry and explain to kids about equality and equity and all of that, but sort of join them with the feeling, which is, it's hard being a brother. It's hard being a big sister. It's a big job. Seems like you don't feel like having that job today. Being able to find some humor around it, being able to find some ways to help kids understand the feeling, that feelings come and feelings go, and also some strategies for managing it, including being able to stomp off and being able to say, I'm not playing with you anymore. I think I wouldn't tell kids to be nice when they're not feeling nice. It's okay to have rules about what you're allowed to say and not say and what you're allowed to do and not do. You may not hurt each other when you're mad at each other, but I wouldn't go out of your way to tell them to be nice to each other, because that doesn't make any sense to a kid. They're mad, so why are they going to be nice to each other? But create rules inside the family of ways that you are allowed to be mad and ways that you are allowed to speak up for yourself when you have some big feelings. Also let them know when it's time to get help. Right? And this will really serve them well on the playground or in school or anywhere else. There's some rivalries and some competitions that you want your kids to feel like they can manage and can control. And you also want to let them know that there's some that they may want to call in reinforcements in the form of a parent or a babysitter or a teacher or whoever the adult is that's in charge. The other thing is, just at a very practical level, if you've got a 3 and a 5-year-old or a 5 and a 7-year-old, our tendency as parents is if they're playing quietly together, then we try to get 6 more things done before the lid comes off, right? And my suggestion is that when they're playing well together, that's also a nice time to go in and join them. Don't just join them when the lid comes off, but join them when they're having a nice time. Because a short intervention from you at that moment may enable that playtime to go on for a much longer time and allow them to enjoy you and you to enjoy them when it's quiet. So you don't just come in when they're fighting, because then that can become their strategy for bringing an adult in. And we'd rather have other strategies like, hey, Mom, come see this thing we just built, right? As opposed to waiting for the lid to come off when you come in agitated. And that's it for sibling rivalry.